Hey, welcome to a new video.
The end of civilization. Can you imagine storage being empty, complete power outages, and no energy left? According to many people, this is one of the most terrifying Simpsons predictions. It happens in the 9th episode of the 24th season that aired on January 6, 2013, titled Homer Goes to Prep School. In the episode, Homer is mistaken for a wealthy businessman and invited to join Springfield Preppers, a group of affluent individuals who prepare for the apocalypse. Preppers also exist in real life, and they're people who prepare for catastrophic events or the end of the world. In this episode, Homer enjoys the luxurious lifestyles of the preppers and becomes obsessed with the idea of the apocalypse, even building a bunker in his backyard. But when the prediction doesn't happen, Homer's bunker becomes a prison, and he becomes increasingly desperate to escape. The episode makes jokes about the idea that wealthy people can buy their way out of a disaster, as well as the paranoia and fear that can come with the idea of societal collapse. However, The Simpsons seem to eerily accurately predict their predictions, so there's certainly something chilling about this idea.
Are you new to this channel? Make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. And before we start, also like the video.
And you don't have to live like a referee. The 16th episode of season 25 of The Simpsons, Homer is approached by a FIFA official. The organization seeks an honest referee to restore its tarnished reputation after widespread corruption scandals. In the episode, we see the FIFA official humorously talking about the pervasive rot within the organization. This turned out to be a foreshadowing of the real corruption scandals that would later engulf FIFA. The FIFA corruption scandal broke in May 2015, when several FIFA officials were arrested in a massive investigation into bribery, fraud, and money laundering. This means that there were approximately 13 months between the episode airing and the actual events. Homer ultimately decided to referee the World Cup fairly. The episode also humorously predicts that Germany will win the tournament, which corresponds to the actual outcome of the 2014 World Cup, where Germany triumphed over Argentina.
In the 17th season, episode 17, titled Bart to the Future, aired on March 19, 2000. In this episode, Bart is depicted as an unsuccessful adult, while his sister Lisa has become president of the United States. One of the most notable predictions in the episode was the use of Hologram Mail. In a scene where Lisa is shown in the Oval Office, a White House staffer hands her a letter, which appears as a hologram. This tech resembles the current concept of emailing, but instead of just seeing text on a screen, the message is projected as a 3D image. While this idea might have seemed far-fetched at the time, it's not too far from reality today. For example, in 2018, Microsoft unveiled a mixed reality headset called the HoloLens, which allows users to project and interact with holograms in real time. By the way, this is the same Simpsons episode where President Lisa mentions inheriting a budget crunch from President Donald Trump, years before the real Trump won the elections. In Simpsons Tide, the 19th episode of the 9th season, which aired on March 29, 1998, we see the return of the USSR. After Homer is fired from the nuclear power plant, he accidentally steers a nuclear submarine into Russian waters. This leads to the American government to believe Homer is trying to defect. The incident then sparks a political dispute between the US and Russia. During a UN meeting, the Russian representative declares that the Soviet Union is prepared to grant amnesty to the stranded ship. This leads to the revelation that the Soviet Union is displaying troops and tanks on the street. And we also see a zombie-like Vladimir Lenin rising from his tomb in Moscow. The return of the Soviet Union has led to speculation in recent years, with some people claiming that it predicted Russia's annexation of Crimea in 2014 and the Russian invasion of Ukraine in 2022. If the Soviet Union were actually to return, it could have significant implications for the world.
The Simpsons can also predict Olympic events, such as the 2018 Winter Olympics. This phenomenon occurred twice. The first instance was Team USA's unexpected gold medal win in curling, a victory that seemed destined for a future movie adaptation. The second involved a mischievous squirrel running across the snowboard course and narrowly escaping disaster. After Team USA's victory in curling on February 24, 2018, after her historic win against Sweden, many Twitter users experienced deja vu. This was because an episode of The Simpsons had already predicted this in 2010. In the episode titled Boy Meets Curl, Season 20, Episode 12, Homer, along with the US team, defeats Sweden, just like in real life 8 years later. Simpsons writer Josh Weinstein also pointed out the similarity between the Olympic squirrel incident and the scene from the episode Mountain of Madness. In that scene, a squirrel is hit by Homer in Mr. Burns' rocket house.
The episode in question is Sky Police, the 16th episode of the 26th season, which aired on March 8, 2015. In the episode, Chief Wiggum accidentally receives a military jetpack, which he gladly accepts. However, he's later confronted by the military general who had originally purchased the jetpack but received a cheap duvet instead. Wiggum tries to escape but gets shot down by the general's soldiers. Could you imagine in real life having police use jetpacks to keep the city safe? In the episode, the jetpack goes off course at one point and crashes into a church, causing massive damage. The town, led by Marge, had to resort to gambling and card counting, topped by Apu to raise money for the repairs. Do you think the Simpsons' prediction of police using jetpacks and flying above people's heads is realistic?
It took 6 years for a real NSA scandal to emerge after The Simpsons had already alluded to it. In 2007, The Simpsons movie featured a scene in which the NSA is humorously shown eavesdropping on conversations of ordinary Americans. This scene took on new significance when Edward Snowden revealed in 2013 that the NSA was running extensive surveillance programs, including collecting data from US citizens. In the movie, Marge Simpson discusses her plan to reveal government secrets, leading to a scene inside NSA headquarters. There, a room full of agents is shown listening in on phone conversations, eerily resembling Snowden's revelations about NSA eavesdropping.
In the Halloween special titled Treehouse of Horror 8, Homer is the last survivor after France sends a nuclear bomb to Springfield. The episode was the 4th episode in the 9th season and originally aired on October 26, 1997. In the episode, Homer tries to reassure Lisa that they are safe from the potential attack by telling her that they have a bomb shelter. However, the bomb shelter turns out to be a cardboard box in the backyard. So Homer goes to Herman's Military Antiques to find a real bomb shelter. At that moment, the French president launches a bomb straight at Springfield. As Homer walks through the town, he realizes that he's the only person who has survived. Eventually, he encounters a group of mutated Springfield residents who call themselves monsters. The Simpsons' prediction is quite scary, as a nuclear war could be catastrophic for our planet. The use of nuclear weapons can also have a devastating consequence for both the environment and the people living in the affected areas.
The Simpsons famously predicted Disney's acquisition of 20th Century Fox in the episode titled When You Dish Upon a Star, the 5th episode of Season 10. This episode aired on November 8, 1998. In the episode, a sign is shown that reads 20th Century Fox, a division of Walt Disney Co. This moment has since been recognized as foresight into the future of the entertainment industry, as Disney officially acquired Fox on December 14, 2017. The Simpsons predicted this roughly 19 years and 1 month before it happened. In the episode, Homer befriends celebrities Alec Baldwin and Kim Basinger, who are in Springfield to work on a film. The episode explores fame in the film industry, and it ends with Ron Howard pitching a film idea at 20th Century Fox, now depicted as a subsidiary of Disney.
The Simpsons have more predictions about robots. The Medbot appears in the episode Future Drama of the 16th season, aired on May 15, 2005. The Medbot is a robot doctor programmed to diagnose and treat patients. In the episode, the Medbot has a dry and clinical way of dealing with patients, contrasting with the warm and empathetic approach of Dr. Hibbert, the human doctor. In real life, we're not yet to a point where medical doctors are fully replaced by robots. However, there are developments in robotics and artificial intelligence that helps improve and support the medical sector. In this episode, the Medbot turns out to be susceptible to hacking, leading to malfunctions and attacks on patients. Robots that can be hacked are also a major concern in real life and can be quite frightening. In the episode Itchy and Scratchy Land from the 6th season, an animatronic robot is part of the amusement park attractions. The robot malfunctions and attacks visitors, leading to chaos and destruction. However, the Simpsons defeat the robots by using their cameras to trigger system failures in the robots. It's true that robots in the real world can malfunction and cause harm. As robots become more advanced and integrated into our daily lives, there's concern that they could pose a threat.
The Simpsons predicted Lady Gaga's Super Bowl halftime show during the episode titled Lisa Goes Gaga, the 22nd episode of Season 23. This episode originally aired on May 20th, 2012. In the episode, Lady Gaga makes a guest appearance and performs while suspended in the air, which strongly resembles her actual appearance during the Super Bowl halftime show on February 5th, 2017. The time difference between the airing of Lisa Goes Gaga and Lady Gaga's Super Bowl performance is about 4 years and 9 months. This striking similarity highlights the bizarre alignment between the animated portrayal and the live show, in which Gaga similarly flew through the air using a harness. In the episode, Lady Gaga helps Lisa Simpson with her confidence and performs several stunts, including flying over a crowd while singing.
Treehouse of Horror 5 is the 6th episode of the 6th season and aired on October 30th, 1994. In this episode, Homer travels back in time by accidentally turning his broken toaster into a time machine while trying to repair it. Based on our current knowledge, a time machine allowing travel to the past or future is currently not possible. While traveling to prehistoric times, Homer remembers his father's advice about the butterfly effect, but he unknowingly kills a mosquito. This sets off a series of alternative timelines that become increasingly strange and disturbing, including a reality where Ned Flanders is a tyrant ruling the world. Ultimately, Homer's actions led to the destruction of an entire universe. If time travel were possible, it could have profound consequences for the future of humanity. For instance, it could be used to prevent disasters or alter historical events. Although time travel remains purely theoretical, researchers are already working on ways to manipulate time and space, such as studying black holes and wormholes.
The Simpsons has a long history of seemingly predicting future events, leading to countless theories about its prophetic nature. For example, the show has accurately predicted various political events, humorously highlighting throughout the episodes. In a fascinating blend of pop culture and reality, a 2002 episode of The Simpsons is often cited as having predicted a real-life event involving former President Donald Trump. This connection gained widespread attention in June 2017, when a meme circulated on social media. On May 21, 2017, Trump was photographed touching a glowing orb during a visit to Saudi Arabia. The image was shared and discussed globally, particularly because of its visual similarity to the scenes from The Simpsons.
In the 14th episode of the 12th season, titled New Kids on the Block, which aired on February 25, 2001, Bart Simpson and his friends are recruited by a boy band called Party Posse to be a part of their music video. As the story unfolds, it's revealed that the boy band is actually a cover for a military project, aiming to brainwash young people and control their minds through their music. The idea of using music as a means of brainwashing is a popular theme in science fiction, but it also has a basis in reality. In recent years, there's been reports of governments and military organizations experimenting with music as a form of psychological warfare. For example, the US military has used loud music as a form of torture during interrogations of prisoners of war. Apart from military applications, there are also claims that certain forms of music can be used to influence listeners' behaviors and emotions.
The Higgs boson particle, often referred to as the God particle, is a fundamental particle in the standard model of particle physics. It was theoretically predicted by physicist Peter Higgs in the 1960s to explain how particles acquire mass. The particle was confirmed by scientists at CERN in 2012, marking a major milestone in physics. Remarkably, there's a connection between the Higgs boson and the animated series The Simpsons in the episode The Wizard of Evergreen Terrace. The second episode of Season 10 aired in 1998, where we see Homer Simpson standing at a chalkboard with a complex mathematical equation. According to Simpson Singh, the author of The Simpsons and Their Mathematical Secrets, Homer's equation surprisingly predicted the mass of the Higgs boson with remarkable accuracy. The prediction was made 14 years before the particle was officially discovered by scientists.
The second episode of the 28th season, titled Friends and Family, aired on October 2, 2016. In the episode, Mr. Burns becomes interested in virtual reality tech after accidentally encountering Professor Frink, who was wearing a virtual reality headset. This technology already exists in real life, but virtual reality technology keeps improving. In the episode, Mr. Burns takes the technology home and creates a virtual family life. His psychiatrist advised him to try having a family. Could you imagine if in real life you could program digital people and communicate with them? It's quite frightening, isn't it? In the episode, Mr. Burns wants the Simpsons family to be his virtual family, but he eventually fires them after they grow tired of their roles. The episode ends with a glimpse into the future, where most of the residents of Springfield, including Homer and Marge, wear virtual reality headsets. This ending suggests that virtual reality tech has become a part of daily life in the future. A world where everyone wears a VR headset and ignores each other or only interacts in virtual reality is a terrifying scenario, especially because people are susceptible to the idea of escaping from reality.
The horse meat scandal refers to a major food safety scandal that came to light in 2013, primarily in the UK and Ireland. It was discovered that horse DNA was present in various beef products sold in supermarkets. Remarkably, The Simpsons had made a prediction related to the scandal. In the 19th episode of Season 5, aired in 1994, there's a scene where Lunch Lady Doris used assorted horse parts to prepare meals for the students of Springfield Elementary. This scene became especially relevant when 19 years later, health officials discovered traces of horse DNA in beef products in the UK. Many fans noticed a bizarre similarity when the horse meat scandal broke.
In the Simpsons episode titled Gone Boy from season 29, China decides to launch a missile at the United States. In this episode, Homer becomes obsessed with a news report warning of an imminent nuclear attack from China. He believes they have only 30 minutes to live and frantically searches for his family. As Homer's fear and paranoia escalates, he accidentally gets trapped in a fallout shelter with Marge. This is considered one of the scariest Simpsons predictions that might actually come true. The episode ends with a surprising twist when it turns out that the news report was actually a prank by Bart and his friends. The warning about the missile attack was a fake news story that they made up to get out of a test at school. However, this was not the only time The Simpsons made this prediction. In the Simpsons episode Lisa's Wedding from 1995, a psychic named Madame Inga predicts various future events, including the Third World War. Madame Inga foresees this war being fought between the European Union and the United States, sparked by a dispute over the US refusal to switch to the metric system. The war will last for several years and lead to the destruction of many major cities. This Simpsons prediction is quite scary. Let's hope it never comes true.
The episode Marge in Chains, the 21st episode of Season 4 of The Simpsons, originally aired in 1993. In this episode, a fictional illness called the Osaka Flu spreads to Springfield after a Japanese factory worker accidentally contaminates the town through a package. The episode humorously depicts the chaos that ensues as the townspeople respond to the outbreak. 26 years later, a similar incident occurred in real life. The Osaka Flu was portrayed as a highly contagious illness that leads to widespread panic among Springfield's residents. The episode has often been mentioned in conversations about real-life pandemics, especially in light of the C-19 outbreak. Some fans saw parallels between the fictional Osaka Flu and the public's reaction to the C-19 pandemic, particularly in terms of the panic and the rush to find remedies.
In the Simpsons movie released in 2007, a giant dome is placed over the city of Springfield due to severe pollution problems. The dome is a massive glass structure that encloses the entire city, trapping its residents inside. The plan was to contain the pollution and prevent it from spreading to the rest of the world. What makes this episode so scary is that there's a conspiracy theory claiming that the Earth is not spherical, but instead a flat disc-shaped object. This theory suggests that there's a large dome covering the entire Earth, and the sun, moon, and stars are all within the dome. In the Simpsons episode, citizens of Springfield find themselves trapped inside such a dome, cut off from the outside world. This leads to a breakdown of law and order and a general sense of panic and chaos. The city's resources become strained, and the residents struggle to survive without access to basic necessities like food and water. Do you believe that the Earth is flat with a dome above it, or do you think that the Earth is simply round? Let me know in the comments.
The tiger attack on Roy Horn of the famous duo Siegfried and Roy took place on October 3, 2003, during a live performance at the Mirage Hotel in Las Vegas. This incident marked a tragic turning point in the careers of the famous illusionists, known for their spectacular shows featuring white tigers and lions. 10 years earlier, in Season 5, Episode 10 of The Simpsons, aired on December 16, 1993, the show predicted the famous act of Siegfried and Roy. In the episode, the characters Siegfried and Roy are portrayed as flamboyant magicians performing a grand illusion with their beloved tiger. However, things go wrong, and the tiger unexpectedly attacks Siegfried instead of cooperating. Sadly, this fictional event mirrored reality, when a large, heavy white tiger named Manticore dragged Roy off stage by his neck.
In Treehouse of Horror 7, the segment Citizen Kang shows the two alien characters, Kang and Kodos, abduct Bob Dole and Bill Clinton and assume their identities to become presidents. The idea that beings from another planet could come to conquer or destroy us is a common theme in science fiction, but it's also something that scientists and astronomers take seriously. The extraterrestrial beings in the episode plan to subjugate humanity once they win the election, but Homer foils their plan by freeing the real candidates and causing their spaceship to crash. In real life, there's ongoing efforts to search for extraterrestrial life and listen for signals from other planets. But it remains a mystery whether we're alone in the universe or not. If aliens were to make contact with us, it's impossible to predict what their intentions would be. However, over the years, we have received some mysterious radio signals that have yet to be explained, including the WOW signal. Additionally, NASA has sent several time capsules into space containing info about Earth and humanity, including the famous Voyager Golden Record. How likely do you think this Simpsons prediction will come true? And do you believe that we'll encounter extraterrestrial beings in real life?
A scene in The Simpsons shows a sniper on a rooftop during a protest, a situation eerily similar to the recent incident targeting former President Donald Trump. On Saturday, July 13, 2024, Trump was targeted during a campaign rally in Pennsylvania. The 20-year-old suspect, Thomas Matthew Crooks, was found on a nearby rooftop. Although Trump remained unharmed, the incident left a lasting impact on the US. In episode 16 from season 7 that aired in 1996, many people saw striking similarities to this real-life event.
Cloning is the creepy side of science that everyone agrees on. Can you imagine an army of yourself? In the first episode of the 14th season, there's a segment, Send in the Clones, from Treehouse of Horror 13. This episode aired on November 3, 2002, where Homer buys a cursed hammock that can clone anyone lying in it. In real life, cloning is the process of creating a genetically identical copy of an organism. Homer uses the clones to do all his chores, but they become less intelligent and more violent over time, eventually involving the military. In real life, Dolly the sheep became the first successful clone in 1996. Since then, scientists have cloned many other animals, including cats, dogs, horses, and monkeys. However, cloning remains a controversial topic and is illegal in many countries. Cloning humans can also lead to a whole range of unethical and moral dilemmas. For example, the exploitation of clones for organ transplants or the creation of a class of genetically engineered superhumans with advanced capabilities.
The prediction about the Shard, a famous skyscraper in London, is made in season 6, episode 19 of The Simpsons, titled Lisa's Wedding, which aired in 1995. In this episode, Lisa Simpson experiences a flash forward to the future, where she travels to London. In the background of one of the scenes, a building can be seen that closely resembles the Shard, an iconic structure that wasn't completed until 2012. When the episode aired, the Shard wasn't even under construction, as building work only began in 2009. In the scene, Lisa meets her fiancé, Hugh Parkfield, against a backdrop of iconic London landmarks, including Tower Bridge and Big Ben. The skyscraper visible in the distance is described as tall and narrow at the top, features that match the Shard's design. This led to speculation about whether the creators of the show had insight into London's future skyline.
In the episode Treehouse of Horror 8, there's a segment called The Fly vs. Fly, a parody of the 1986 film The Fly. In this segment, Bart accidentally becomes a hybrid human fly after a teleportation experiment goes wrong. He then causes chaos throughout Springfield, including getting stuck in a spiderweb. Teleportation is a hypothetical transfer of matter or energy to one point to another, without physically crossing the space in between. There's been recent progress in the field of quantum teleportation. As for real-life implications, if teleportation were possible, it could revolutionize transportation and travel as we know it. Imagine stepping into a teleportation device and accidentally merging with a housefly that also flew into the device. It's quite terrifying to think about the potential consequences if such experiments were possible in real life. Don't you agree?
The episode Who Shot Mr. Burns, the 25th episode of season 6, aired on April 21st, 1995, and remains one of the most iconic episodes of The Simpsons. In this episode, Mr. Burns attempts to block out the sun by constructing a giant sun shield. His motivation is to make the citizens of Springfield entirely dependent on his power plant, thus monopolizing the city's energy supply. The storyline humorously reflects the extreme lengths that Mr. Burns is willing to go in order to maintain control over Springfield's energy. The concepts of geoengineering, particularly solar geoengineering, have become more relevant in recent years as possible solutions for climate change. In 2023, billionaire George Soros advocated for methods to reflect sunlight away from the Earth to combat global warming. These discussions about geoengineering surfaced approximately 25 years after the episode aired, highlighting how far ahead The Simpsons sometimes seems to look.
Treehouse of Horror 23 is the second episode of the 24th season, aired on October 7th, 2012. In this episode, The Simpsons predict that the Earth will be swallowed by a mini black hole. Black holes are a real astronomical phenomenon that possess some significant dangers. A black hole is an area in space where gravity is so strong that nothing, not even light, can escape. If a black hole were to appear on Earth, it could have catastrophic events. It could have catastrophic consequences. Firstly, a black hole would destroy everything in its immediate vicinity, including buildings, vehicles, and people. Additionally, a black hole would disrupt the orbit and gravitational field of the Earth, potentially causing earthquakes, tsunamis, and other natural disasters. The gravity of a black hole is so strong that it could even pull the Earth out of its orbit and into space. Let's hope that the Simpsons' prediction of a black hole appearing on Earth doesn't come true.
In the episode Brother, Can You Spare Two Dimes, the final episode of Season 3, we see Homer's half-brother, Herb Powell, where he invents a baby translator. This device is designed to interpret a baby's cries and translate their needs into plain English. The episode first aired on August 27, 1992, and follows Herb's story of trying to rebuild his fortune with this innovative invention. This concept of the baby translator in the episode is similar to a real-life product developed in 2023 by company Soundstream. Soundstream claimed to have developed a device that used artificial intelligence to analyze a baby's cries and determine their needs, resembling the fictional device from The Simpsons.
The 27th season, episode 16, titled The Mars Chronicles, aired on March 13, 2016. In this episode, Lisa Simpson becomes fascinated with the idea of colonizing Mars after attending a space convention. She and the Simpsons sign up to be among the first people to go to Mars. Eventually, the mock process ends with everyone dropping out except Lisa and Marge. But it raises a question. The colonization of Mars is on our minds. Specifically, it's on Elon Musk's mind. Elon's efforts to colonize Mars are well known. He stated that he believes in colonizing Mars, and it's essential for the survival of humanity. His company SpaceX is working towards that goal. In 2016, around the same time the Simpsons episode aired, Elon announced his plans to send people to Mars as early as 2024. The likelihood is that you will experience this prediction in the future. Would you be one of the first people to dare to take a journey on Mars, or would you prefer to stay on Earth?
Trump became the first former US president to be arrested, coinciding with the release of the trailer for his highly anticipated Barbie movie. In 2023, Trump was photographed in court during his first formal hearing after a grand jury indicted him on 34 counts of falsifying business records. Meanwhile, Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling appeared in the Barbie trailer. Going back 24 years to an episode titled Lisa vs. Malibu Stacy, the 14th episode of Season 5 aired on 1994, Lisa tries to convince the makers of the Malibu Stacy doll to create more inspiring dolls for young girls. During a news segment on The Simpsons TV, news anchor Kent Brockman announces that the president has been arrested. This prompted many fans to draw connections to Trump's future arrest.
Is Bigfoot real, or is it just Homer Simpson? The Call of the Simpsons is the 7th episode of the first season, aired on February 18, 1990. In this episode, the Simpsons go camping in the woods where Homer gets lost, stung by bees, covered in mud, and accidentally mistaken for Bigfoot. Over the years, there's been many claims of Bigfoot sightings, but there's still no convincing scientific evidence to confirm its existence. Most evidence of Bigfoot consists of eyewitness reports, blurry photos and videos, and footprints. In The Simpsons episode, Homer was mistaken as Bigfoot. Leading to media frenzy and a search for the mythical ape-like creature. However, this was not the only time Bigfoot was mentioned in a Simpsons episode. In the first episode of the 15th season, titled Four Heads and a Funeral, Bart encounters the real Sasquatch during a family trip to Canada. The Sasquatch, who calls himself Squishy, turns out to be a friendly and intelligent being who befriends Bart and helps him in his quest to return to Springfield. Do you believe that Bigfoot really exists? Let me know in the comments.
In October 2017, the first episode of Season 29 of The Simpsons aired, titled The Surfin. This could be seen as both a parody and a prediction of the TV series Game of Thrones. In this episode, the Simpsons find themselves in a medieval setting where Homer accidentally brings a dragon to life, which then destroys a village by setting it on fire. This scene attracted attention due to its striking similarity to a key moment in Game of Thrones, specifically the moment when Daenerys Targaryen uses her dragon, Drogon, to destroy the King's Landing in the penultimate episode, The Bells, in May 2019. In The Surfsons, the Simpsons family watches from a hill as a dragon burns down a village. Bart exclaims, "Look, the dragon's burning our village," to which Homer replies, "I love our life." This moment was praised for its dark humor and its resemblance to the dramatic destruction in Game of Thrones.
If the dinosaurs met their bitter end in a similar celestial event, what's to stop a comet or asteroid from hitting the Earth again? Barts Comet is the 14th episode of the 6th season and aired on February 5th, 1995. In this appropriately titled episode, Bart accidentally discovers a comet. Its destination? Straight to Springfield. The Simpsons writing team was inspired for this episode by the Time magazine cover with images of comets striking the Earth. In the episode, Springfield does its best to destroy the comet, with Professor Frank firing a rocket at the target. Believe it or not, in real life, we've also fired rockets at incoming asteroids multiple times. If we hadn't changed the course of these asteroids, the impact could have had catastrophic consequences for the Earth. Let's hope that a similar event that wiped out the dinosaurs won't happen again.
One of the most striking predictions from the creators of The Simpsons is the appearance of a three-eyed fish named Blinky. This character first appeared in the 2nd season of the show, in the 4th episode titled 2 Cars in Every Garage and 3 Eyes on Every Fish, which aired in 1990. In this episode, Marge serves the three-eyed fish to Mr. Burns during a dinner that coincides with Burns' gubernatorial campaign. The fish is depicted as a product of pollution from the Springfield nuclear power plant, owned by Burns. In February 2024, 34 years later, a real three-eyed fish was caught off the coast of Greenland, sparking discussions among fans of the show. This fish, resembling Blinky, was shared on social media, and quickly compared to the fictional character. The real fish had 3 eyes, 2 on the sides and 1 on the top of its head, prompting speculation similar to the fiction story where Blinky's mutation was attributed to nuclear waste. In the 9th episode of the 2nd season, Marge Simpson leads a campaign against a violent cartoon, Itchy and Scratchy. During this episode, the arrival of Michelangelo's David in Springfield sparks protests from a group called SNUH, who object to the statue's private parts. The episode serves as satire on censorship, illustrating how well-meaning efforts can lead to absurd outcomes. Eventually, Marge realizes that she can't censor one form of art while opposing other forms of censorship. In 2011, a store in Florida placed a replica of Michelangelo's David at its entrance. A small group of residents objected to the statue, calling it indecent. They eventually succeeded in having the statue's private parts covered with a cloth. A notable prediction is about building a wall to stop illegal immigration, a central theme of Trump's campaign. Trump described the southern border as a major problem, claiming it was a key route for illicit drugs that were destroying our youth and the fabric of our country. In the 21st and final episode of Season 20, titled Coming to Homerica, which aired on May 17, 2009, something similar happens. The plot revolves around building a wall between Springfield and a neighboring town to prevent illegal immigration. This Simpsons episode predicted Trump's proposal to build a wall along the US-Mexico border, 6 years before it was made in 2015.
The 4th episode of the 19th season, titled Treehouse of Horror 18, aired on November 4th, 2007. This special Halloween episode features 3 separate horror stories, one of which is called Dial Z for Zombies. In this segment, the zombie apocalypse is triggered after Krusty the Clown introduces a new hamburger in his fast food chain, Krusty Burger. The hamburger is made from contaminated meat infected with a virus that turns people into flesh-eating zombies. The virus spreads rapidly, and Springfield is overrun by hordes of the undead. The episode is a parody of the classic zombie film genre, but also touches on interesting themes such as the dangers of the fast food industry and the potential consequences of a global pandemic. The episode can be seen as a cautionary tale about the importance of food safety and disease prevention. But some argue that this is a prediction that we will have a zombie apocalypse in the future. What would you do if this happens? Let me know in the comments.
Nadia Suleman, better known as Octomom, gained international fame in 2009 when she gave birth to octuplets, the first surviving set of 8 babies. She used IVF to become pregnant and had all 8 embryos implanted at once, which caused much controversy. This happened while she already had 6 other children, making her a single mother of 14 kids. A similar event occurred a decade earlier in a Simpsons episode, specifically 8 Misbehavin', the 7th episode of the 11th season, which aired on November 21st, 1999. Apu and his wife, Manjula, become parents to octuplets after an overdose of fertility drugs. The family considers turning the babies into a zoo spectacle called Octopia, but Apu ultimately decides to save his children from exploitation. The disappearance of the OceanGate submarine, which was exploring the Titanic wreck, brings to mind a specific episode of The Simpsons, which originally aired in 2006. In Season 17, Episode 10, Homer's Paternity Coot, Homer Simpson embarks on an underwater expedition that bears a striking resemblance to the OceanGate incident. In the episode, Homer goes on a treasure hunt led by a character named Mason Fairbanks, who was introduced as a father figure. During their underwater adventure, they encounter several challenges, including a stuck submarine and a low oxygen warning, similar to the real-life OceanGate Titan submarine situation. 17 years later, in June 2023, the OceanGate Titanic went missing during a dive to the Titanic wreck with 5 people aboard, including the OceanGate CEO, Stockton Rush. The submarine lost contact about 1 hour and 45 minutes after descending, leading to a frantic search.
Few things sound as frightening as meet the future masters of the human race, especially when pronounced by Mr. Burns. The future in which humans are controlled by robot masters is a prediction that has not yet come true, but with the advancement of AI technology, it may not be far away. The 17th episode of Season 23, titled Them Robot, aired on March 18, 2012. Mr. Burns introduced the A9000 robots, intended to be workers at the Springfield nuclear power plant, after health insurance for his own employees became too expensive. Everyone except Homer was fired. It goes from bad to worse until the helpful robots stop assisting people. Eventually, they chase both Homer and Mr. Burns before the people of Springfield come together to destroy them. Is a future where robots and AI replace and control humans fiction, or do you think this prediction will come true?
The Simpsons already predicted Donald Trump's rise to the presidency in 2016, but apparently it also foresaw his 2024 campaign. One of the most notable examples occurred in Season 11, Episode 17, Bart to the Future, which aired in 2000. In this episode, Lisa Simpson becomes the first female president of the United States and refers to a previous administration led by Donald Trump. In 2015, a short TV special titled Trumptastic Voyage showed Homer flying past a campaign sign that read Trump 2024. This is now seen as a prediction of Trump's announcement to run for president again in 2024. Whether or not Trump wins, The Simpsons predicted this 15 years before it happened. One of the strangest and most specific predictions from The Simpsons is Richard Branson's trip to space, 7 years ahead of time. In 2014, in Season 25, Episode 15, titled The War of Art, Branson is shown floating in a gravity-free spacecraft. This scene closely resembles his real space journey on July 11, 2021. In the episode, Branson's seen relaxing and gazing at a painting while floating in the spacecraft, which fans later noted bore a striking resemblance to footage from his actual spaceflight. Richard Branson's flight was a milestone, as he was the first billionaire to travel to space. As we mentioned, The Simpsons has a long-standing reputation for predicting future events and technological advancements. One striking example is the second episode of Season 28, titled Friends and Family, which aired in October 2016. In this episode, Mr. Burns hires the Simpson family to act as his virtual reality family, using a device that strongly resembles the recently released Apple Vision Pro headset. Homer and Marge are always shown wearing virtual reality headsets, using a straw to consume virtual fudge. This prediction closely mirrors real-world developments in virtual reality dining, especially from companies like Aero Banquets RMX. This company's working on tech that allows users to alter their taste experience in a digital environment, similar to The Simpsons' depiction of eating virtual fudge. What's your favorite Simpsons prediction? Let me know in the comments. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos we made, click one on the screen or take a look at the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.